I tell you, this man went down to his house justified rather than the other. You see what I'm saying? So what did the Lord say? The person who's going to confess their sin, the person who will acknowledge that I know I haven't done right. You see what I'm saying? He goes down justified. The other one who trying to boast in his works, you know what I mean, and not acknowledging his sin, you know what I mean? You're not going to be justified. Okay? So that's verse 14. It says, I tell you, this man went down to his house justified rather than the other. For everyone that exalteth himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. You see what I'm saying? So you see, that is the Lord telling us, don't you try to stand up and exalt yourself and make it look like you're self-righteous. Like the only reason God blessing you is based on everything that you've done in life. You know what I mean? Because that's a lie. You know what I mean? The covenant said, the old covenant, the law said you had to do it all. That was the agreement. And if you ain't done it all, you see what I'm saying? And I ain't seen nobody out here sacrificing no rams, no goats, no calves, no bulls. You see what I'm saying? And if you ain't done none of that, then you can't boast in your works. And you see, like in the lost son, that elder son, he was like, well, I've done all this. And, you know, as soon as he comes back, you're sitting here blessing him. You see what I mean? And that's what this Pharisee was doing. Same spirit. He's sitting there, well, you know, I do all this, and this guy over here, he comes over here and he don't do anything. You know, he's an extortioner. You see what I'm saying? And that's the spirit, that self-righteous spirit is heavy in the church. You see what I mean? Heavy. And it has to be taken care of. And that's why you don't get into self-righteousness. Okay? All right. Now let's go to Luke chapter 19, verses 12 through 27. Luke chapter 19, verses 12 through 27. He says, and he said, therefore, a certain nobleman went into a far country to receive for himself a kingdom and to return. So we know that this is talking about Jesus the Lord. All right. And he called his 10 servants and delivered them 10 pounds and said unto them, occupy till I come. All right, then he says, verse 14, but the citizens hated him and sent a message after him saying, we will not have this man to reign over us. So you see, that's what the world is saying. We ain't having no Jesus reigning over us. We're going to do it on our own. All right, verse 15, and it came to pass that when he was returned, having received the kingdom, then he commanded these servants to be called unto him, to whom he had given the money. Okay, that he might know how much every man had gained by trading. Because, all right, now verse 16, then came the first saying, Lord, thy pound hath gained 10 pounds. Okay, and he said unto him, well, thou good servant, because thou hast been faithful in a very little, have thou authority over 10 cities. So you see, and this is when the Lord says he comes back to return, and now he's going to put everybody in place in his final kingdom. Okay, so when the Lord comes back, everybody who's been faithful in this lifetime, you see what I'm saying? He's going to make us rulers in the next. Okay. All right, so anyway, it says, verse 17, and he said unto him, then came the first saying, Lord, this is verse 16, then came the first saying, Lord, thy pound have gained 10 pounds. And he said unto him, well, thou good servant, because thou hast been faithful in very little, have thou authority over 10 cities. And the second came saying, Lord, thy pound have gained 5 pounds. And he likewise said to him, and he said likewise to him, be thou also over 5 cities. And another came saying, Lord, behold, here is thy pound, which I have kept laid up in a napkin. For I feared thee, because thou art an austere man. Thou takest up that thou layest not down, and reapest that thou did not sow. Okay? But what is the key? He said, I fear. You see what I mean? Everything you do, you got to do it in faith. You see what I'm saying? Remember, the first people to get tossed into the lake of fire is the fearful and unbelieving. Okay? We read that in Revelations. But anyway, it says, he said, I fear thee, for thou takest up that layest not down, and reapest that thou didst not sow. Okay, so he didn't go out and trade or didn't do anything with the pound that he gave him, so he wasn't faithful. You see where the Lord said the other two, you are faithful. This guy is fearful. You see what I'm saying? So you see there's the faith-fear thing again. All right, verse 22, and he said unto him, out of thine own mouth will I judge thee, thou wicked servant. And there's that other principle that we said, every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account of in the day of judgment, for by thy words you shall be justified, and by your words you shall be condemned. So he said, now out of your own mouth I'm going to judge you. You knew that I was an austere man, taking up that I laid not down, and reaping that I did not sow. Wherefore did thou then gavest not thou my money into the bank, that at my coming I might have required my own with usury? You see what I'm saying? So rather than you sitting there and just keeping it in your pocket and not doing anything, hiding it because you was afraid that, you know what I mean, you wouldn't have it when I came back, what you should have done was taken and put it in the bank, and that way I could have got interest on it. You see what I'm saying? All right, and he said unto him, them that stood by, take from him the pound and give it to him that hath 10 pounds. So you see the Lord's principles of abundance. When you are faithful, the Lord rewards you and gives you more. But when you are not faithful and when you don't do what you're supposed to do, then basically you're going to get things taken away from you. All right. And it's very key for you to understand that. All right. Verse 25. And they said unto him, Lord, he hath 10 pounds. You see, they're like, well, he already got 10. What you going to give him some more for? And he said, for I say unto you that unto every one which hath shall be given, and from him that hath not, even that he hath shall be taken away from him. But those mine enemies which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. Okay, so with that, we're going to go in closing. We'll do one more. Let's go to Matthew chapter 13, and we're going to read verses 24 through 30, and then 36 and through 43. All right, Matthew chapter 13, verse 24, it says, another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. Okay, but while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. And so the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then hath it tares? He said unto them, an enemy hath done this. The servant said unto him, wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, nay, lest while you gather up the tares, you root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest, and in the time of harvest I will say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. Okay, so now let's jump over to verse 36. Okay, so now you see he gave this story, but now he's going to break the story down. Verse 36. Then Jesus sent the multitude away and went into the house, and his disciples came unto him, saying, declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. He answered and said unto them, he that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. Okay, so we know the sower who sowed the good seed is Jesus. All right, the field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. Okay, so now when we put this back in, it says, but while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. Okay, so what happens is, even in the midst of a righteous congregation, Satan will come in and try to bring people in there that's going to disrupt everything. And you got to understand and be able to discern, you know, in every church, you're going to have that. The enemy is going to come in and try to bring in, his people in there that's going to try to cause disruptions, and you'll know them by their spirit. All right. Anyway, it says that as therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire. Wait a minute. Verse 39. He says, the enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend and them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. Okay, so let's go back to the parable now that we know what he was talking about. He said unto him, an enemy hath done this. Thy servant said unto him, wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? Okay, so you have the servants of the Lord who wants to get rid of these children, and that's what a lot of times, even in the churches, these disrupted causes, you want to get them out. You want to kick them out, but you can't do that. You know what I mean? And you try to run them out, you offend some of the children of God that's in there, because they'll be like, well, why'd you do that? That wasn't right. So see, sometimes you just got to let those, even though remember, Jesus allowed Judas Iscariot to walk with him with the rest of the disciples, and he knew he was a child of the devil. You see what I'm saying? So, this goes to a lot of ministers and a lot of pastors. You got people in your congregation that they ain't of God. You know what I mean? But the rest of your congregation don't know that, and you can't do anything to them because you might offend, some of the other people, some of the young saints. You see what I'm saying? And and you got to let the Lord weed them out, okay? And he's definitely going to weed them out, in the end time. You see what I'm saying? They're going to get theirs in the end. You know what I mean? Okay. So with that being said, once again, I thank you for your time. I hope that this lesson has been a blessing to you. God bless you. Continue to study and read, get in your word, in these days to come. It's a lot of false teachers, and we're going to start trying to cover that in the next message. But anyway, have a blessed day. Thank you once again. God bless you.